A very good evening to Prof. Dr. Hassan, the Vice Chancellor and President of Strategist University, and also ladies and gentlemen. Welcome all of you to the program Entrepreneur Success Circle, Alumni Industry Forum. And I'm Jingwen, your host for tonight's section. So, welcome all of you to take time to come over and to join us for this event. It's really glad to see all of you here. So this event is actually co-organized by Enterprise Asia and also Taylor's Alumni Relations Office. And we designed this program to aim to provide a platform that allows fellow alumnus of Taylor's University and Taylor's College to be able to gain insights and also to find possibilities in the business arena while we were actually interacting and exchange the ideas with our panelists and also other participants. We also see this as a networking opportunity for all of you to interact with peers and experts from different backgrounds. So we hope that by the end of today, you'll be able to get as many new friends as possible. And just to let you know, this is the second time we are organizing this forum. And I'm sure that all of you know the topic of today, right, is building brand experience, gaining loyalty through customer service. And we are really glad indeed to have 4 panelists joining us today to undergo the session. They are Ms. Rumaizon, the Principal Strategist of Ideascape Consulting Group. And we have Mr. Benjamin Yong, the CEO of the Big Group. And also Mr. Zaharuddin Abd Jalil, Senior General Manager and Acting Head for Berjaya Hotels and Resorts. And the last but not least, Mr. Edward E, the CEO for Malaysia. So I believe all of you have roughly gone through the background through the profile that we have sent you before, and also you can actually take a look on the brochure on the table to get to know them better before we start the forum later. And the panelists here today, they'll be sharing with us on 2 points. The perspective on brand building and also customer service across different industries, and also case studies or business practices that allow us to understand how do we deliver impressive customer experience in order to gain the brand loyalty for all businesses. And tonight we have a very special guest joining us today. He is our fellow alumnus from Taylor's Schools of Hospitality, Tourism and Culinary Arts. And he's none other than Mr. Peter Law himself. So just let me brief you a little on his background. Mr. Peter Law, with 16 years of commercial experience in hotel resorts, theme parks operation, and also financial services across 10 countries in Asia. And he spent his initial 10 years running human resources and learning and development in hotel and luxury resorts. And for the past recent 6 years, he has been with financial services. He is now currently the Assistant Vice President and Head of Learning and Growth with Great Eastern Life Assurance Malaysia Bahar. And he's also heavily involved in setting up human resources and learning and development functions in new countries such as Indonesia and Vietnam. He is the man behind the successes for Great Eastern's employer branding initiatives. Also, as mentioned, he is a fellow alumnus of Taylor's. He was graduated with a French BTS qualification, and also he holds a Master in Business Administration from RMIT University in Australia. So tonight he'll be sharing with us his idea on building employees' brand experience, a case of a 10-year-old, century-old, and 50 billion ringgit company. So can we give him a big round of applause to him to come and share his idea with us.
Thank you for the kind introductions. I thought good evening, Professor Dr. Hassan, panel members, fellow alumni, and many others, Taylor's employees. Indeed, it is my pleasure to be invited for this little sharing. And I thought initially when I was told, talking about brand, building a brand, I was quite skeptical as to what sort of background do I have to come here and share about brand? Then at the back of my mind, I was thinking, I should then look at it from an employer's perspective, building an employer's brand, and how an employee is experiencing it. Every company go out and say that we are doing this, we are the best employer, we are doing a lot of other things and things, many things. What essentially, when people join the company, that's the moment of truth. And the moment of truth is the experience that they go through from before even stepping into the company until the day they decided to leave the company. So the employment life cycles are a very, very crucial part of it. So I thought I will just share in a case of Great Eastern being 104 years old this year, and also an asset size of about 55 billion ringgit. Yeah. So I hope I'm going to be able to enlighten some of you in an aspect of building employers' brand for the experience of the employees. And many of us here are employees of another organizations. All right. When we talk about brands, really essentially, what is the top of the mind recalls when it comes to brand of hotels? Anyone? Hilton. What else? Berjaya. Many will say Ritz-Carlton. How about luxury resorts in this part of the world? Six Senses among resorts, Four Seasons, and so on. The names goes on. How about when you come to cars? Luxury cars, we probably talk about Audis, BMWs, Mercedes, and how about education services? Tailors. We got to say tailors for today. And I thought these particular slides, you see, a lot of these names that appear on the screen here are some of the great brands that we have seen and from various industries. So, question is, branding for centuries, these are for centuries. Work has been focused very much on external communications, very much external, telling people how great is the brand and so on and so forth. But the experience of an employee are always the secondary. So what I'm going to share with you is not really looking at the logo and the images, but it's really the true experience of another employees. The brand promise, we really can win customers, but how to keep it is another story. Yeah. So who is the one who really keep the brand promise? Yeah. Who will be keeping the brand promise? Any idea? Thank you very much. Employees. It's the employees. It's many of us who actually live up to the brand that you are carrying. And just imagine if you are working for a company like Taylor's University, being the premier one, and you wear your t-shirt, Taylor's University, and you go around and you behave like Mark Rampik. And they say, oh, that's Taylor's students, which is still not too bad. But if you say, hey, I know that he's the marketing head of Taylor's University, you see the brand, the perspective that they are coming from are very different now. Yeah? So what I'm saying here is, if you want the employees to live up to the brand promise, then the first very important fundamentals is you've got to let them experience the brand promise for the customers as an employee as well. Now, hence, building employer branding is really, really crucial, and the approach should be inside out rather than outside in. A lot of time in the past has always been the outside in. And sometimes when there is too much of outside in, employees feel that they could not live up to the brand promise of the company. Now, building a brand from the HR perspective. Now, I'm actually taking a very radical approach Just imagine if you work for a company. How many of you working for a company that you have 2 HR department in your team, in your company? Anyone? There is no company that actually have 2 HR department, right? And what happened is, if your company decided, the CEO one day wake up, from the wrong side of the bed or whatever, they say, okay, guys, we are going to set up another HR department to give you a run for the money. And would you then operate the same way you have been doing in the past? Chances are you operate very differently, because now you have a competitor. You are no longer the sole, you like it or not, you just have to look at my face. Now you have another contender, and the winner will be taking the job. The others will be, the one who lose will be out of the job. Then you will wake up and every day you will come to work from a very different perspective. Now I got to win this game. If I don't win this game, I'm going to lose my job. So I'm going to share with you the next couple of slides. Not so much of words anymore. It's a lot to do with pictures. Now, looking at this, employer's life cycle. People comes for an interview. The brand experience actually starts way before that. First thing is you put out in a newspaper, put out in online job streets and so on and so forth, advertisement, and say, I have this vacancy. And individual will start, clicking and saying, Malaysians are very good in it. They just click all over the place, whether they like the job or they don't like the job, whether they have the competency or not, they will apply for it. And you will end up 150 CVs coming in. And as a HR persons, you need to screen through and say, hey, maybe I would just want to see the 10 of them. So what happened is that the experience of the other 140 differs. The other 10 are actually being invited for maybe interview or, then subsequently the experience. So the experience is actually start what your promise in the websites of your company, what promise that you have put in the job streets, or even in the newspaper that you say you have a vacancy. Then the aspects of recruitment take place, the process of recruitment takes place. So question is, would you then ask candidates to come into your office and sit down, wait for 2 hours for miserable 5 minutes interview? Question. Think about it. So it's an experience. Or do I come in, arrive, you have if it is a rainy seasons, you have a warm cup of coffee or Milo for the individuals to get warm up before the actual interview takes place, or at least a warm water. Little things like that matters, and that gives you a different perspective. People will say, hey, I went to that company for an interview. Although I didn't get a job, it was a damn good experience. It was cool. When I arrived, people were very cheerful, welcome me and so on and so forth. That experience, that is the brand experience as an employee. Yeah. Now, very important part is that actually the onboarding, the first 100 days. First 100 days, the moment of truth. A lot of employees make up their mind whether they want to stay with the company or not for the rest of the life in the first 3 days of work. The moment they come in, during the interview, this person interviewed me, promised me heaven and earth, but now when I'm coming in, I'm experiencing it completely the opposite. They will make decisions already. I am only in for this duration. And typically, the surveys in the States and other parts of Europe are saying the Gen Y, the tenacity of staying in a job is between 18 months and 24 months. It's quite scary. By the time individuals reach the retirement age, they will have like 17 to 18 jobs they have gone through. As compared to Gen X, you will probably have between 5 to 8 jobs, and the baby boomers will probably between 2 to 3 jobs. Very interesting. So we are coming to the age of globalizations. People move around very fast and become very fluid, and they become very agile. and people coming to the workforce with the end in mind. Let's see what is the experience like. If I don't like it, next month I'm out. So would you operate the HR team the same way as you operate in the past? Of course, when you recruit, the rewards comes in, the compensation and benefits are the determinant whether the individual will actually stay with you. Actually, there's a word down here, retention. And the opportunity for growth, opportunity to experience different facets of jobs. I was never trained in Taylor's, or I never studied human resources in Taylor's University, or then Taylor's College. But after I get out from the job, I get into the industry, I realized that this is part of the things that I really enjoy doing it. And over the last 15 years or so, I've been in this field, and I truly believe the growth that I have is because I have an opportunity to learn and grow. And here is another part, is reskilling. A lot of people come to work and say that, what's in there for me? But in reality, employees need to feel that there is a reskilling opportunity, there is a renewal. So learn, unlearn, and relearn. So the opportunity has to be there. And if there is, towards the end of the life cycle, is really talking about employee relationship with the employers. And at some point, separations could be retirement, or could be exit because someone just decided to do something completely different. So this is the cycle that is very, very crucial, and the cycle continues. And what happened is the line management role are crucial here, because who is living up to the brand promise? Line managers will make the difference, and human capital is just a partner. Yeah? So if you come from the aspects of employment life cycle and employee brand experience, this is very crucial. Now, these are some of the things that we are doing. We give out scholarship, and Benjamin, maybe in the next one we will get you to cater for us. In fact, we have been doing catering from you for the last 2 years. We get the scholars in, we put them through the assessment, one full day assessment, and get them to really experience case studies and so on and so forth. And many of them didn't get of course we can't give the whole lot of them who come for assessments, the scholarship, but usually we have like 60% of them get the scholarship. This is the final day of assessment. And what happened is that many of them, at the end of the day, they leave Great Eastern with a different perspective of us. They say, that was the best day of my learning, because we were treated like a VIP, we were treated very differently, we were really given a different set of challenge. And that has actually given me a different perspective of an insurance company, a century-old company. And we also do things like, this is a little bit of social responsibility, where we Berjaya Malaysia school adoptions program. So we adopt some school, and we go and have a great day with them. Great day in learning as well as enjoying various movies that we pass around. And this has come back to us and say, brand awareness. And what happened is one of the aspects of the school adoptions program is to provide them what is financial planning is all about, and also career management. Although some of them are actually pretty young, we also have primary school, secondary school. So, of course, the sharing are at various levels, differs. In-house, we have what we call making life great, because as you know, Great Eastern's tagline is life is great. So life is great is not about just a tagline. It's within the organization, we actually do a lot of activities to make life great for people. So like, for instance, this is a Chinese New Year where we actually get one of the employees to start writing this Chinese calligraphy, and we sell it for a small amount of money and raise for a charity. You see, so it's actually coming from a very different perspective. We also have our CEO who dress up, like with baju Melayu and lots others. So we have a lot of celebrations. Every quarter we will have big events. This is a way to engage the employee, because an employee want to go to an organization to feel that they belongs to. They have fun, not only just serious work. So we actually deliberately make our senior management team coming down to the ground and feel the pulse of the employees. More, we have, when this gentleman decided to call it a day, retiring, one of the staff decided to dress up and give him a wow, pat on the back, and say thank you for the years of wisdom and sharing. These are many other things. We even have events where employees show their true talents. So we say that at the day you work, sweat it out, at night you actually completely different persons, and they enjoy all the things. So a lot of engagement activities that put it in place. More, these are some of the things we are having carnivals. We are having recent games, and different, instead of by department, we actually by floors. So, like for instance, I have never worked with IT team for the closest ever, and over the last 3 months or so, I've seen the IT people like day in, day out. That actually gives me a different perspective of IT professionals. We go out also and do road shows in universities, in public forums to promote career in the insurance industry, career in different fields in the insurance industry. Yeah. We also make our CEO and our group CEO to do a lot of dancing and so on and so forth as part of coming down, roll out your sleeve and get to know the real people that matters to the company. We have a lot of other so-called Javolutions initiative where we have CEO blogs, we have Javolution awards, and people give ideas, and we reward them with handsome awards. 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 Singapore dollars. It's quite cool, Give an idea, at the end of the day, if you get 15,000 Singapore dollars, it's actually quite cool. Because we believe employees really making it happen, and as a team we move forward in that manner. There are many things, many other things that we do. Employee engagement surveys is one of the big things that we do. Every year we actually take a pulse check, how they actually feel. Give us your feedback, written feedback. You can do oral feedback. We also do focus group and so on and so forth. Development is a given thing. Working together, making people come together in different forums are given thing in a day of employment life cycle. So with that, I hope I have given you a different perspective of employee brand building, employee brand experience. And through all the hard work that we have done over the last, between 2005 or 2006 to 2008 or 2 or 2009, we actually reap in a lot of rewards now. For instance, this is the Educational Achievements Awards. We have been getting the awards for the 4th consecutive years. This is the first time in Malaysia we are getting this award. And we are the winner of the Malaysia Top 100 Leading Graduates and Employers for the insurance category. So we have been winning the awards for the last 3 years as well. So these are some of the things that, through the employers' brand building, we are actually seeing the results coming in. And 3 years of hard work, we are seeing the results now. So I thought giving you this perspective, and I really believe that all of us go to work with a purpose. Money is one of the things, and many people leave the employer because of somebody else, not because of the brand of the company. And if you truly believe that you can build a brand, look at the employee perspective. That could align your brand and living up to the brand promise. Yeah, with that, I would like to thank each and every one of you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you very much, Taylor's University.
Hi, good evening everyone. Okay, I'm not getting any response. Good evening everyone. Good evening. Great, that's better. At least I want to know that I'm speaking to alive people. You know, don't sleep on me yet. Okay. All right. I think they're gonna regret calling me because I can talk non-stop. But can you hear me at the back? Yes. Good. All right. Tonight, well, when I was told to speak, the brief given was that we're going to talk about building brand experience through customer services. All right. So, Ideascape is a branding and marketing consultant. We talk a lot about building brands, and really, what brand is all about differentiation. And you can create point of differentiation through HR, like what Peter was talking about just now. You can create differentiation via your product benefits, by your pricing, like AirAsia did. But here, what I want to focus is when you use customer service or customer experience as a brand differentiation, what happens, or what do you do, or why even bother? Yeah. So stay with me. That's what I'm going to be talking about. All right, I'm not sure what you do, but a lot of people think, my company is doing okay, what? Customer service, not bad, what? No problem, no complaint. So, should be okay, right? But my question is okay good enough? Is setting the standard at sameness good enough? Yeah? And actually, my product or my service or my restaurant or my store or my outlet is the one and only kind. You don't have to worry. They can't find anything else anywhere else. So like that, you know, they'll keep coming back to us. That's a lot of what brands are thinking. But you know, the currencies are very, very fast changing, and if you don't take care of your customers or your consumers, chances are someone else will come in no time at all and take them away. Yeah? What's the difference between customer wants and customer needs? Do you know that? What is customer needs? Customer needs is being reliable, is giving the same service again and again. So if you're selling curry mee, make sure your curry mee tastes the same every time you serve it. So that's feeling customer needs. Customer wants is all about making your customer happy. So that's the difference. Customer needs and customer wants. So that at the bottom, at the very bottom is what we call customer care. And then you have the concept of customer service. Stay there with these two differentiation, yeah? Because I'm going to share with you another one. Now, we're all big on processes. Must follow SOP, ma. If not, the boss angry, you know. You have to explain. Must follow procedures. It's all stated, you know, and I have to state in my report like this, like this, like this. Hang on. In providing customer service, what needs to happen is flexibility, because no two problem or issues are the same. And the easiest thing to do if you should ever decide to brand or to use customer service as a differentiation, for God's sake, get people who can speak English or Chinese or Malay, because nowadays, I mean, you have to agree with me, you go to a restaurant, try to place an order, and the waiter or the waitress doesn't understand. Now, how can you move up to even giving good customer service or excellent customer service if there's a language barrier? Yeah? So, what is really happening out there is really, there is a disconnect between business, brands, okay, what we are doing versus what customers or consumers want. Customer wants compelling experience, alright? We say we provide okay customer service. They want really great experience. Customer wants personal focus. They want us to be attentive to them. We talk about our product. Alright? Customer wants to be treated differently. Everyone wants to be special, to be made to feel special at least. Yeah, but we treat everyone the same. Yeah, we keep saying, oh, this one is one cluster of consumer segment, this is another cluster. We group them and we treat everybody the same way. This segment, we do this kind of CRM. This segment, we do this kind of promotion. Right? Isn't that what we do? Alright? Customer wants coordination. Again, I repeat, we confuse them without even knowing because we have so complicated SOPs. Yeah? And they want innovation. We say, hey, must maintain, must follow the process, the standards, the everything. So that is where the disconnect happens. I spoke about customer care. I spoke about customer service. Let me introduce to you the concept of customer excellence. What is customer excellence? If customer care is about reliability, is about being professional, and if customer service is about making people happy, what is customer excellence? Simply put, customer excellence is when your service becomes memorable, when they cannot forget you, when you sense chill up their spine. I get goosebumps. I feel so warm. I feel like I'm coming home to mom. Yeah. A lot of examples are coming later. So what I'm trying to summarize from here is that when we're talking about customer service, again, do we want to stay at customer service? Because maintaining at that level is no longer strategic. People are already starting to move, more and more companies are trying to outdo each other in this space. So sameness is not strategic. We use, in our company when we are consulting our clients, we have this model. And I think it's very easy to understand that for every time you try to acquire, to grow your business, you must make your brands or your business or your product or whatever you're selling be known. So awareness is at the bottom. If people don't know, how can they buy you? Correct? Correct?
Yes.
Yeah? So people need to be aware of you. After that, you want to move them out to have a positive disposition. That means they must prefer or consider you at least. Yeah? And then they will start trying you out. Okay? And this is where sometimes you have a leaky bucket syndrome. They try once but they never come back. Yeah? Looks interesting, I try lah. And then something, the equation doesn't match. I will not try again. If you pass that stage, then you'll get loyalists. Yeah? And further up than loyalists, you get people who are very passionate about you, about your product or your business or your brand, and they will actually advocate, hey, don't go and buy another brand, I want only this brand. And this doesn't happen only with premium brands, mind you, especially with low-income consumers, for example. I did a lot of work with people in the rural areas, and we found that more and more people who do not have that much disposable income are very, very brand loyalists because they don't have much to experiment with. I only have this much money and I cannot afford to make a mistake. I better go back to the trusted brand. So this is the model, alright? And if we look at this model and we try to impose, but what are the drivers at each level? How can we get people to know us? How can we get people to be aware of us? So in terms of awareness, two drivers are communication and availability. It depends on what you do and whether you're available. At that stage, you talk about service, your price, and your promotions. And then the next stage is product, pricing, and promotion. at Loyalist, there's communication, product and service. And to get the advocator level, you have to do communication. Your product needs to innovate and renovate, and service. So you see, when we talk about customer service, it's all at the top. It's not even at the bottom. It's not even going to open the door and generate new leads or new customers. So why bother? Why bother differentiating yourself? I'm sorry, she's giving me this cue to say faster, faster. So why bother? Do you know that 95% of the business fail within the first 5 years? And that's really because they cannot sustain their customers or consumer base. And 68% of them leave due to attitude or indifferent service. If you get people who complain, good, because if they don't complain, you're in trouble. Customer service, loyalty, reduce cost, because it costs 6 to 7 times more to be doing work at the bottom versus the top. Yeah? And loyal customers tend to spend 67% more than new customers. Now, the equation is just glaring at you, alright? And you get referrals. So, customer service will open the door, alright? Examples of Ritz-Carlton, tagline, customer service or customer excellence plugs the lead. And this is an example of Pizza Hut. Here in Malaysia, I tell you, this is a story, please, 2 minutes. A story where a colleague of mine, his daughter orders from Pizza Hut almost every week. And there was this 1 month they actually were traveling and they did not order anything from Pizza Hut. You know what Pizza Hut did? The Pizza Hut called the daughter up, the number, and said, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm just checking. This month we have not had any orders from you. Are you at home? We would like to send you a free pizza. Please enjoy. Check that out. Okay. Have you heard of Zappos? They're a shoe company online where you can buy and you can try them for 365 days before you make up your mind whether you want to keep them or return them. Alright? And their tagline is delivering happiness. And their customer service is awesome. It's spoken all over the world. Their call center girl was talking to a lady who called up and said, I'm sorry, I can't return your shoes because I'm very busy. My husband is stricken with cancer in the hospital and I don't have time to return. It's alright, ma'am. You can keep the shoe for another 6 months. And then guess what? Flower bouquet comes next. And now people are asking Zappos to sell airline tickets, sell more than just shoes. Yeah, because we love you so much. For those of you who've been to Disneyland, you know what customer service is. I don't have to tell you, right? They really, really live the brand essence and they're really differentiated in this area. Yeah. Starbucks. Who hasn't been to Starbucks? They actually sell more milk than coffee. Yeah. But their whole entire brand essence is about people. We're in a people business serving coffee. We're not selling coffee. Yeah, so to them, I mean, check out this book. I have not found it, but I think you can buy from Amazon. And in this book, the gist of it is, it says everything matters. Nothing is short of their attention. Everything matters. Closer to home, I want to bring an example because you say, Ala, Romy, you know, you talk about brands overseas. This is closer to home. This is a hospital called Darul Ihsan Medical Center. Is owned by some yayasan. Well, we stumbled upon them, and guess what? Look at this, look at this, look at this. Their tagline is, we bring compassion to life. This doesn't look like you're going into a hospital, this looks like you're going to a resort, right? And then they've got a buggy to pick you up from the car park, okay? Alright? And then one story was told to me by a patient who was discharged. When I brought my son to DEMC, she says there was no bed. It was full house. So I had to go home. But every hour the nurse was calling, is your son alright? Is your son alright? Now the bed is ready, you can come and bring your son out. Yeah? I mean, what does it take to do that? Yeah? So they've got also a premium lounge, like a la airport, and they were celebrating a birthday of one of the patients there. Yeah. So it's not impossible. So if ever you entrepreneurs, I think you are, choose to pick customer service as a differentiator in your business. Yeah, these are some of the top tips. Make customer service strategic. Everybody has to believe in it. That's just no two ways, because you can't do something that you don't believe in. Yeah, it's not just a department. Review your ROI calculation method, meaning don't just think about profit, think about sign of success is also emotional affinity, positive emotional connection towards your brand. How are you going to measure that? Focus on trust, not just buzz. A lot of us are just busy talking about promotion, must be heard, must have reach. I'm sure you heard about those terms. Focus on trust. Build the trust, yeah? Meet Mr. Telephone. Forget everything else, meet Mr. Telephone. Mr. Telephone is the easiest thing you can do in terms of building your brand using customer service, yeah? And don't give up. If you don't get sales tomorrow, customer excellence or customer service is not a sale tactic. It's not short term, but it guarantees sustainability. And people or brands who have embarked on customer service or customer excellence last longer than those who are just talking about promotion, price, product benefit. Yeah? And say thank you when people give you complaint, because it's really, really a gift. I'll take questions later. Okay?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Unfortunately, I don't have any fancy slideshow presentation. I'm going to speak from the heart, really, and which is essentially how I run the business. How many of you have been to any one of our restaurants under the Bake Group? Oh, okay. Now, a harder question to ask. How many of you have had a bad experience? Be honest. Don't be shy. Be honest. Share with me. What was your frustration, if you don't mind?
Once in Banks KLCC.
Yep.
They have to close it, I think, for 1.5 hours.
Yep.
Due to the
Fire drill?
food. Yes. The food was not ready. There was shortage of food. There was first time in my life that I had that shortage of supply in the restaurant.
From an investor's point of view, we're probably very happy that everything's sold out, but I do apologize for that. Okay, somebody else.
And the service there is the poorest among all your stores.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much for being honest, guys. This is a very honest, open opinion. So, if anybody else has got anything to share, you can tell me afterwards. But what I'm trying to point to you is that we're an 18-month-old company. Today, I met with a Singaporean reporter, and he asked me a very interesting question. He goes, "Do you believe you've opened too many restaurants too quickly?" And that got to me for a little while, because I was lost for words, because I kind of thought, well, perhaps we did. And he asked, why did we open so many so quickly? And I couldn't give him an answer. I laughed it off and I said, opening restaurants are very addictive. You do one, you want to do more. And initially, when we had first set out to open the Bake Group, there was only 10 on paper. And my business philosophy as we go along the way is the right time with the right opportunity. And believe you me, there were a lot of right opportunities, and that's why we've got 23 today. But I'll be the first to admit that we have a huge shortfall in customer service. We are very, very aware of it, that consumers have a lot of choice. Every dollar they spend with us, they have an option to spend it with everybody else. And whilst we're aware of that, we are trying to develop an in-house culture, a company culture that empowers our staff, every team member, to think for themselves and to act on behalf of the company, that gives you the right image. So there is something else that's very interesting about Malaysian consumers, and I'm sure anybody in the business would realize. We love to complain, and Rumaizon is correct. Complaints are good because we are aware of the problems at the top. Yeah. One of the things I do every night before I go to bed, the new social media, I suppose, allows everybody to be a critic. Every night before I go to bed, the last thing I do is to check out Facebook to read the comments. And one thing I've realized consistently in the last 2 months is that for every 10 complaints, we have one savior who sets that light to show us that somebody's doing well and leading the way. And to answer your question, KLCC is the worst. KLCC's got the highest volume and probably by far the most understaffed outlet. These are not excuses. These are problems that we are very, very aware of. And perhaps I'm probably the worst person to choose to speak about hospitality service, as I'm well aware of our shortfall. But I come back down to how we started 18 months ago. When we brought in our HR director, I told her, my job is to create a company within 5 years to become the most desirable company to work for. Right now, we're going begging and pleading for people to come to work for us. Plans are in place to empower, not only to empower our staff, to encourage and educate. You see, we talk about language issues. Manpower in Malaysia is a big problem. That is something that I believe everybody will share. Every employer will recognize. Yeah? And we have no choice but to look outside. But how do we do that? We bring them in and we try and educate them. We can, like you say, they're humans. They need an education and not training. So they start on the floor by being busboys. So we've made big badges that says, I'm a busboy, I don't speak the language, please allow me to refer you to a wait staff. So these are things that we're trying to offset and develop patience amongst our customers. We talk about efficiency in terms of food. 1.5 hours running out of food, again, I use that example, I apologize. But generally each and every dish, people ask us, what's our secret? There is no big secret. We cook everything from scratch when you place your order. That's why food takes half an hour. But in today's society where time goes so fast, we have got very little time, and that's why time is very precious. And every minute feels like 10 minutes. And so by the time your food comes, you feel as if you waited for 1.5 hours. And we develop ways of entertaining you while you're at the table, creating comment cards. Yeah, these are all part of brand strategy to enhance your experience, because that's what we're here to do. We are here to provide an experience for you for that dollar you spend with the company. Coming back to customer service, the education part of it would be, you see, you're asking a guy who probably has not had the privilege to attend tailors. That's something perhaps we should fix one day. But who understands the Mama experience, for example. Everybody goes, guys, you've all been to a Mama experience, right? For 1 ringgit 50 cents, you get a teh tarik, you have no questions asked. The guy pours half the drink on your table, you don't complain because you know that's the way it is for $1.50. But that's their whole experience. That's their idea of customer service. So they reenact that. They haven't had the opportunity to experience what perhaps fine dining should be. And these are things that we're working on developing. For example, restaurateurs, where we bring team and by outlets by going to, say, Cilantro and Stage, exposing them to a fine dining meal, that perhaps this is what the level of service a proper restaurant should be, so that they can understand what we're talking about and not just showing slideshows about what SOP should be, what service should be. It's first-hand experience. That's the education part. Coming back to the core philosophy of the company, we use the word relationships. I won't use culture, but my philosophy is very, very simple. We look after our staff, we invest into our staff, as Peter's highlighted. Our staff looks after our customers, and automatically our customers will look after the company, and the company looks after us. It's a very, very simple equation. There's no two-way around it. And trying to instill this new culture, this culture into a company that's only 18 months old has been very, very trying. But like I said, for every one compliment we get, that is 10 times the encouragement we need. So yeah, I hope that essentially sums up what we're trying to do as a big group. I don't know whether that makes any sense, and there's no slideshows, but I will take questions afterwards, so that will allow the presentation to continue. Thank you very much.
Senior management team of KLS University. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Today's topic, like building brand experience, and also talking about employees' role as a carrier to brand loyalty. I guess that's what all our colleagues have presented just now, I think the principle of branding, and how you look at branding, and how you recognize branding, and how you go about being loyal to the brand, and how you get the customer to be loyal to your brand, are all basically the same principles, except for the product differentiations. And we have different products. Like for us, we have rooms, food and beverage, preparations, and whatnot. And I think Mr. Benjamin, he has more on food. And I think Peter is more on human resources, training people, and getting people to understand what quality is all about. But as far as the hotels are concerned, we, as you know, we spend, I think, more than $500,000, 1 or 3 million in our advertising and promotions, just to get the message through, locally and internationally. And a lot of collaterals, we're talking about collaterals, products, amenities, and all that, A to Z. And one of those things that we embed to our employees is how do they recognize the organization, the brand, and how loyal are they? Perhaps I'm a walking loyalist, being in the company for 22 years. I don't know how I lasted 22 years. But I guess one thing to say that it's not the money that you're talking about. It is your own satisfaction towards the responsibility, your work, and the organizations that you work in. And I guess I've experienced all those that are on paper, in terms of being loyal, in terms of recognition that I get throughout my experience, and the experience that I get from my work. I think that's what some of colleagues says, you can never run from complaints. No organizations, no business without dissatisfaction. But I guess what was said by Ms. Rumaizon just now, a complaint is actually a gift. We improve through complaints. If there's no complaints, everybody will be laughing to the bank, right? So I guess this is something that we have to face in reality. And that's what we have. Most important thing in our organization, as far as hotels is concerned, we have our vision, mission, and the values. It all boils down to how you want to get your customer to have a memorable stay. Memorable can be positive and negative. The bad experience is also memorable. So I guess it works both ways. But as far as when you are running an organization, of course everybody looks at the positivity, how positive you are towards delivering your services and getting your product up to the standard of expectations of your customers. And of course, through continuous improvement of integrity, leadership, and example. I guess any organizations, if you were to join, like for us, we have a very broad training program, orientation programs that can adapt you to what is expected of you in the organizations. And of course, we also have an onboarding program where you will have to go through a certain number of years of apprenticeship, maybe 2 years, before we actually recognize you to be part of the management team. Like customer loyalty. I mean, there are so many ways of pleasing customers. At times, you can't please them all. The expectations can be too strong or too demanding. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is how we get our staff, which is the main product of the company, to deliver the services and also whatever is required by the customer. Now, how do you get your staff to to deliver satisfaction to the customers? Now, one of the ways, I may not follow exactly what the slides are. I just go through what summarizations of the slides. One of the ways that we train, as you know, also mentioned just now, SOPs. Now, a lot of people may not understand what is standard operating procedures. Yeah. In the hotel, we have YMPs, PMPs, and SOPs. Yeah. SOPs are something that you go and do work on the ground. Yeah. Where we have standard operating procedure. For example, the team here, how do they set tables? How do they clear tablecloth? How do they change tablecloth and whatnot? PMP is preventive maintenance program. That means it can be preventive in terms of service, it can be preventive in terms of product, and preventive in terms of chemical. Yeah? That means because as hotels are concerned, the security, safety of our guests is the most important. We must have a very hands-on operations where we have to be aware of the safety first, of customers. So that's where one of those that we do and how we recognize our employees is through the SOPs. Now it's a simple thing, just like a restaurant, your table for example. Maybe one waiter is in charge of four tables. And you have maybe one captain in charge. So how you embed the feelings of being loyal and to give the best service of a person is competitiveness. We must have competition within even a restaurant, not just an organization. So what we do is we get them to commit themselves. In other words, for every table that you have, there is a slip of paper where the captain or supervisor will say, "Good evening, madam, sir, whatever. I am so and so. I'll be taking care of you, at this table, and with my colleague, who's a waiter or waitresses or whatever." And that is compulsory. We make it compulsory for every station to have comments from the guests. That means the evaluation of your service with a smile, whether you are presentable, whether the service is up to the mark, whether your general knowledge is good. The customer asks you something about what am I doing to do tomorrow, can you recommend me what do I have, what interesting things do you have to offer, or what can I do? So all this will come into the evaluation list. Now from that list, this is where every day we will collect that list, and the food and beverage manager and whatnot will analyze and start taking their marks. So over a month, over a week, we will know who is actually working, who is actually needs training. We are not witch hunting, neither are we discriminating anyone, but this is how we improve. Those who need help, this is where we put them in another group, where they will train on their weaknesses. Yeah? Now, as far as hotels are concerned, I think what Benjamin is saying just now is also something very, it's very true, that all of us, the hotels industry, at the moment we are facing the same problem. We cannot expect perfection from our staff because they are not all Malaysians. Okay? We are actually running out of manpower in the market. So we have a lot of Bangladeshis, Indonesians, Filipinos, and whatnot. And to talk about loyalty, brand loyalty, they are not loyal to you, neither to their work, but they are only loyal to them, how much you going to pay them. So this is something that all organizations in the hotel, in the market now, they are facing. And most of our graduates who graduated from universities and whatnot, the diploma and degree, they go to better market. They go to China, they go to Singapore, where the money is better, the offer is better. So we start running out of resources and we start taking people outside. Yeah? And we have this challenge that we need to eliminate. So in the time to come, I guess most of you, for those who are going to the hotel industry or even business entrepreneurs, you will be facing this problem. And I guess it's good that we realize now and how to value. It doesn't matter what nationality they are, but the orientation program and bringing out of them how to put embed loyalty to them into a company is very important. It's not just the money. Being straight, there are so many ways of being straight. There are those who use, physical but those we just use the most powerful way of dealing with problems, communicate. It's how you communicate with the employees that matters. How you convince them. Yeah. So of course we have recognition program. Now this program is a bit different than what Rosano has produced just now. But I guess this is how we go about the vision, as I summarized just now, the services, how you do brand awareness, and the implementation part of it. Yeah? And I guess that's the only thing I can talk to you about. If you have any other questions that you may wish to know, please, by means, do so during the question and answer session. Thank you.
I think today people are taking too much of McDonald's, so everybody is getting things very fast and request a lot of different things. So in terms of shoe, in our industry, we call it manufacturing. So it means like our shoe is just like baby just coming in, glad and things, and every day they need a pair of shoes. Yong has 21 outlets today in Malaysia, and we have some store in Dubai, Saudi, and Vietnam, and Egypt. We managed to produce almost about 1 million pair per year, and which from this amount, trust me, we always receive a lot of complaints, a lot of complaints from customers who have problems or who don't have problems. So how we do it is when the comparison from the competitors of our industry, a lot of people they will just say, okay, your product is only from 50 to 200 ringgit, so just don't bother it. But from our philosophy, so whichever the product, we have a weekly meeting, which is very important for the company. It's always bringing to my desk on weekly basis. So what we did is we put on the product at the beginning. So every week when we seeing these numbers of defective products or whatever, so the first thing we do is we will try to email all these number of products to the respective outlet, including our overseas, to inform them we got this problem. Please all of your store to check, and including the warehousing. Because the things that we're doing is pre-production. It's not unlike bands is on cook, on time. So we have no, it's all ready made. So when the product is arrived into our hand, it gives us a lot of issue, especially when we're talking about 1 million units per year. So how to control it? I think when customers who want to complain and to for a lot of issue, basically it's more on the product before the customer service, basically from our end. So when we receive all this complaint, the first thing is we will try to the respective outlet, we will go to the local corporate to repair the shoe for them or the unit, or else if something is really on the manufacturer defect, we will get a refund. So this is how we do, even though we only produce the selling price for 50 to 200 ringgit, but which we have been carrying this for the past 6 years. So from that incident, we also find some customer who has worn their shoe for 6 months, they come back and tell you your shoe quality is no good at all. So what you going to do? But as we find the phase is whatever customer they make a complaint, we always need to take care of it, even though they're just on a very simple thing. I remember there's some overseas customer who has raised a complaint to us. What we did is, after we repair the shoe, then what we do is we just DHL the shoe back to the country, and we receive the compliment from this customer and saying thank you card and all that. So I think from the competition wise, so when you walk into the competition of shoe industry or fashion industry, even the Pasar Malam is my competitor. Today you buy a pair of clock shoes, then you will buy less pair from my shoes or from others shoes company. So the only choice is you have to keep on to the giving innovation and different experience, into your shop, into your products, and into your design. So we are the company who are always giving new design. So our design is almost about 600 design per year, which we are producing. And we sometimes be up to about 800 design per year to fit to all our customer needs. So from the competitors in Malaysia, it's more talking about promotion today. Today you see a sale sign, then everybody will go and grab it. Today you see an offer bin, they will see today it's a sale signage for the ladies. If you put a little bit like no sale, no promotion, then the lady just like, okay, why don't I just walk to the next store who have sale? So from there we have to, even the sale today, we do not do just a simple SALE to attract the customer, because a lot of what you call all these signages or POP, whatever has been, you can see everywhere. So you have to be something different. You got to put some gimmicks works, end of season clearance or something rather than SALE, then because it's very bold. So this is how we do. So every even the POP colors, it can be reflected to the sale, to your numbers. So for instance, we only using the red color for twice for end of season sale. But when we need to do a promotion, we will do a promotion for, like for example, Ramadan, Hari Raya, or whatever festive, we use a green color. So to get the inspiration of your whole shopping environment into the shop as a tiny of 1,000 square feet or 800 square feet shop, you feel a different thing. So this is normally that how we improve in terms of our sales. And also, I think we are not many Malaysian shop which are entire to put in 5,000 ringgit for the hi-fi system. So in our shop, you can look into it. Like for example, if you have a chance to walk in KLCC or Mid Valley Pavilion, we are using all this boost system. We are not using kind of a Philips or whatever. Why? It's because of the music really tell you something. And if the music is burst with all this lousy sound and all that, it will make the consumer not stay. So, other than all these issues, we are not talking about only the products, we are not talking about customer service. We are enhancing every single thing to enhance the sales numbers. Thank you.
Okay, as we have a really packed schedule, so I'm just going to dive right into the forum. I'd like to start with Rumaizon on his question on brand relevance. How you spoke about customer excellence, and you just spoke about how if you make them warm and fuzzy and they cannot forget the experience, they will become advocates, right? But before we even go there, how do we even decide what is that brand experience? How do we know what they want? And after we know what they want, how do we set the strategy? Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good question. A lot of brands that we consult always comes to us and asks, especially consultants like us, okay, so what do you think we should be? You know, how do we create relevance? And really, that's something that you would have to decide, because if I tell you what to do, then I might as well run your brand, right? Yeah, so in creating brand relevance or brand identity, true relevance, there's no method that's really there. I suppose being in touch with your target customers, knowing what is it that they want, what is the gap that we can possibly fulfill. Yeah, because gone are the days that you're just selling a product. You are selling something beyond product, because If anything else you forget after tonight, I wish to make sure you take home this point. If you think you're selling a product, yeah, good, then you're selling a product. But what you should be selling is actually experience. So to identify what is that experience, great brands has gone to great depth, to great detail. I came from Nestle, and in Nestle, understanding consumer behavior is a big deal. The CEO, the MD goes down, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drives down to consumer home to find out how they prepare breakfast, so that we understand how breakfast is served, what kind of breakfast is eaten, and therefore we become more than just a food company. We could become a nutrition, health and wellness company and create all products around that single value proposition. So identifying what that value proposition is important. Take time to do that. Once you find that, believe in it and go on with it. Yeah, I hope I've answered the question.
It's okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I'd like to perhaps ask Edward, since you are seated here. Edward, with 2 decades worth of experience in the world of shoes, and I was just telling him, shoes is like top 3 best friend with women, besides diamond and handbags. And we all know how aggressive this industry is. Can you tell us how do you sustain brand loyalty in this kind of climate, and what examples of innovation? You gave an example of having a $5,000 Wi-Fi system, right? I'm sure there's a lot more. So could you just tell us about this?
To survive in this industry, you have to fall down and you wake up again. I think the shopping environment in Malaysia has been really grown up and matured, and compared to what is 10 and 20 years ago. And to understand the consumer needs, and we always travel around the world very often. And in Hong Kong, almost every month. So to understand what is the world's changing, reading newspaper, books, whatever, to understand all this consumer changing, not only in the fashion industry, but as well as the industry in food, in beverage, in hotel. So because it's a globalization things today, it's all related to each other. So from this inspiration, we will always try to go to advanced countries like Italy, UK, to get the inspiration from them and then to adopt it into Malaysia's system. So I hope I can answer this question.
Thank you very much. Travel as being a key strategy to do transporting. Encik Zahar, you have been more than 2 decades, right? Is it more than 2 decades? In Berjaya resorts and hotels. Tell us, you mentioned about issues in manpower, and you have SOPs, and you talk about memorable total experience for your guests. So how do you ensure that the brand continue to deliver consistent quality across all your different resorts, and you have many different tiers? So how do you measure that brand experience? And maybe you can give us some examples of how you conduct these reality checks.
Okay, I mean, we're talking about brand loyalty and talking about brand and also the name of the organization. I mean, so to say, in terms of services and also in terms of guest satisfaction point of view, we have a division where we monitor the guest satisfaction part of it through the TripAdvisors, where TripAdvisors will be putting in comments, whether negative or positive, from our guests. after they had stayed in each property or in our restaurants. And from there, that's where we will zero in into whichever division or whichever property that is related to whether it is positive comments, especially negative comments. And when it comes to negative comments, that's why I'm involved, because then it will be under my portfolio where I will normally go into investigating areas of techniques, improvement, or where did we go wrong, or where did the problem started or not. In terms of brand, we have also engaged a professional company, which is from the US. It's under the Brand Karma Incorporated. Brand Karma is where we will be, in terms of like Malaysia, for example, we will have all the data in terms of our competitors, hotels, whether it's within range of 5-star, 4-star properties. Now this is where they will analyze and they will give you figures according to by the week. And we're talking about competitions without us knowing that there's always someone who is monitoring our performance and putting us into a competition. That means every month you will have a report. Where does your brand, the hotel, goes in between? Say we have now in Kuala Lumpur, we have 196 hotels. So out of 196, where do we stand? Yeah? Like for us now, we stand among the 4 and 5-star combined average of number 47 in the whole of the city hotels in Malaysia. So this is where, with that, they will have the analysis of in terms of where, how do people know the product, from which destination, which country, yeah, and how do we know about travel agents, either through internet or the business kind of reservations, or we have a different kind of vehicles, or now we have internet through business and all that. So in fact, through the internet bookings, our total sales or even recognition from brand alone comes to about 60%. It's gone up from 2 years ago, it was 30%. So now, because of the what Rumaizon was mentioning just now, new technology, the computer, telephones, and all these things, so it has actually tripled. And this is where we are able to control in terms of the branding. It's like where we stand, and we have all of it is taken into account. As far as it's not us doing it, but it's an independent company.
So is this correct to say that Brand Karma also measures your online experience for the customer?
Yes. In fact, under Brand Karma, actually, how we analyze it is we are able to define it through the business segmentation, marketing segmentation, for example. We have travel agents, we have online bookings, we have what we call this through inter-group reservation system. So we have our own reservation system. So we have through now we have through the video system. We are able to do our own central reservation system. So this is where it contributes to the brand.
Thank you very much. It's not easy with 196 different brands. Well, fantastic.
Just to add, in terms of contribution, one of those that we recognize is the employees development program into how we achieve the brand. This year, we introduced our own. It's not international, but it's a passport. Every employee, we have. I have one myself. This is a passport. This is your personal passport, where it's given to every employee. management or rank and file. And he stated the whole of your history is inside here, where you started, when you started, and everything. And your recent development program, whether you have gone through whatever training you have gone through, and say if you are within 20 years or 10 years, everything will be there, which is recorded, and that will monitor your business development. And from there, this is where you contribute to the business talk about loyalty, brand loyalty of employees, and also the management and employee relationship. So this is one of those that we need to learn.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass this on to Ben now. Ben, you mentioned about developing a culture where your staff can think for themselves and act for the company when you build your big group brand, right? So what are the operation strategies that you have in place that you allow your frontliners to do that, to deliver that moment of truth? So what happened when a meal get delayed or...
I mean, there are many simple strategies, I suppose, in terms of empowerment. I mean, every manager and assistant manager, for example, is given an entertainment account. Entertainment account, by definition, is not to wine and dine their friends, but I suppose it could be for service recovery. So, for example, if the meal took 1.5 hours and it should be comped, that goes under the expense. That allows us to track, and that allows us and for themselves to track how many mistakes they're making. You know what I mean? And simply but beyond service recovery, it is also just a warm gesture. For example, like what you said earlier, whether it's a complimentary pizza. Consumers get thrilled by recognition. I mean, if you go into your regular coffee, I mean, we've all been to Starbucks, we've all been to any of the coffee joints. If you go in, day out, especially if you work above a coffee joint, you go in every day, you buy the same latte. Up to a certain point, if you go up to the counter and the cashier or your barista still doesn't recognize you, would get fed up, right? So a lot of it is about recognition. So if you see, we tell our managers that if you see a regular client or somebody that, needs a hug, so to speak, buy them a coffee, buy them a chocolate cake. A chocolate cake always puts a smile on anybody's face, on most days. So that is part of the strategies that we've put into place to push them to kind of develop that relationship with our customers. That's how we try. One way we try to put in a mechanism to, and ultimately the other thing that we do at the end of the month is look at those reports, and if they've not utilized it, in fact they get penalized because we know that they're not being proactive by getting engaged with the customers. That's what we do.
No wonder it's hard to get a seat in a restaurant. Yeah? And next time you should try to pick for frauds because you get free meals. Is that what you said?
No. Let's not encourage that.
Now we know the secret. I actually have time for one question, and I'd like the panel to take this question in turn because I think it's relevant to all that you do. Can you share with us a key issue in terms of brand loyalty in the context of what you do? Give us an example of a hard decision that you had to take when you discover your action or strategies is not delivering the customer need. It's basically like looking at, what's not working. So how do what is that hard decision that you say, okay, I got to stop this because it's not delivering what the customer wants. You give an example of hot milk versus cold milk for tea. I just discovered that you serve cold milk with tea, and it doesn't work if you serve hot milk, right? So, yeah, do you maybe start from
in
that?
context of service or in context of branding? So
it's in the context of brand experience in your
I think there are a lot of times, I tell the marketing department that whatever we do, put ourselves as the end consumer. That's how I built the whole business. I've always put myself as the end product, as the end consumer. What do I want from that experience when I go to patronize any one of the outlets? So with whatever marketing programs or branding strategies they come up with, put yourself as the end consumer and ask yourself, is it simple enough, or does it end up frustrating the customer? You guys would know, you've been to enough, you've shopped enough, you've been into enough restaurants where or retail shops where you have to buy something, to scratch something, to tear something, to claim something, to get a free something. That really, whoever comes up with these I suspect people who looks at what's the word I'm looking for? Trigger points, and probably accountants. But they forget that as the end consumer, you really want to keep it really very simple. Why frustrate the customers? So we have done occasionally promotions which we've obviously not thought through properly. That ends up frustrating the customers rather than enhancing the experience. That's when the minute we see that, we try and pull it off the ground to avoid further aggravation. You know, so that, I mean, these are things that has happened before, and as a result, we put in a lot of due consideration for every idea we try and put out.
Do you have an example of an idea that didn't work? Put it off the show.
So for example, one of the landlords asked us to run a Valentine's promotion, I believe it was last year, where they said anybody with the shopping center's card can come and claim a glass of free champagne. And you see, the thing is, from my standpoint of view, whatever we do, we should do it with generosity and without too much claim. So when they asked us to do this promotion, you know, one of the marketing girls say, hey, how about we serve Prosecco instead of, you know, VC. VC is a house brand. A glass at cost, we sell it at 60 ringgit a glass. The cost to us is 45 ringgit. And without thinking too much myself, I said, look, our house champagne is VC, we should continue serving VC. So we went with that. And the problem is sometimes you don't put qualifying remarks. For example, it's 1 card per person. Or because it's Valentine's, the consumer came in and said, look, you expect me to drink alone, or you know, what about my date? So there was this huge hoopla about 1 card per glass per person. So we had to try and salvage the situation by giving out a lot of free champagnes that weekend. So yeah, that would be one mistake we will not make again.
Can you share with us?
Well, just like I mean, food products and beverage products. I mean, our product is, as you know, hotels are rooms and services. And what I mean, the critical areas that we don't encounter is, I mean, our customer is our number one informer. Yeah? And for example, what I mentioned just now, the trip advisors and people writing guest questionnaires and all that. These are how we want to ensure that we are up to the plan, up to the mark. And one of the most important things is sales and marketing and marketing communications. PR and marketing communications, where you're in charge of, in terms of collaterals, information, advertisement, and whatnot. So, wrong advertisement and wrong delivery is one of the most damaging part of the hotel. For example, you show a very nice, beautiful resort with nice rooms and whatnot, yeah? But that's only the advertising part. But when the guests arrive at the hotel, they will come up with a different kind of scenario entirely, for example. You know? Why? Because to entice the guests, we normally show the best of our property, the best product. For example, what you say is the best chocolate cake, for example. But the fact is, when we do that, that means we are putting the best rooms into our marketing tools. But when the guest comes in, they actually book a standard room or a deluxe room, which is not the room that we actually showed in their brochure, for example. Yeah? So that's wrong delivery, giving the wrong delivery, giving the wrong message to the guests. Same thing like, you know, you are saying I'm a luxury property or luxury resort. We are on the island, beautiful, just like, you know, a fantasy island, for example. When arriving at the jetty, you will be taken by a beautiful yacht and this and that. Suddenly when you arrive, you have a fishing boat waiting for you. Yeah? So how would you react on that part? Yeah? So that again, we don't know what is the problem that is the resort is facing. Yeah? So for us, at the head office, we trust that everything is to be handled accordingly. But sometimes, due to some unforeseen circumstances, they have breakdowns in their rooms and they have to hire from the village just to get the guests to the island. But using the wrong mechanics, using the wrong replacement of products, that is one of the most damaging things that I can think of.
So in that instance, you give whichever is higher, is it?
Well, what you see is what you get, right? So sometimes we have to give them what they saw in the brochure. So actually they say that is actually a 2,500 room suite, you know, that you saw, but actually yours is a 250 ringgit room, you know, that kind of thing. So these are sometimes losses, losing, rather to lose space, this is sometimes that we have to sacrifice to compliment back to the guests. It's our mistake, you have to admit it. Yeah.
Thank you, Encik Zahar. And I pass the mic to Edward.
Yeah, I guess from our experience is every lady when after they want their shoes or bag, they always saying that I got a wrong thing. So I think we have an experience for staff who have been arguing with one of the customer. And from this customer point of view is we have not delivered the service to them. So eventually things just go off. But unfortunately they have been brought these cases to the shopping mall and as well as to the tourism authority and all that. And the worst thing is that because during the argument between the staff and the customer, it's always both sides cannot be compromised. So normally what we action is immediately. In this year we're giving out a lot of voucher to please the lady and for the next shopping they can. So we managed to not only giving to the voucher to the lady but as well as to the friend because they also get involved. So it cost us almost about 1,000 to get the soft case and make the case soft. So eventually we put all the fire off and they still love to shop to our shop.
So are you doing anything differently with your staff at all of your 21 outlets now so that this giving out of voucher doesn't repeat itself?
We do. Because sometimes it's difficult to please everybody, even though you make the right thing. We always say customer is always right. But we will believe that 1 million unit of our product will be sold. But it's maybe only 1 year you can face about 100 customer like that. So we just take it as a customer service and look for a better tomorrow. So this is our only hope we can.
Thank you, Edward.
I don't know if this question is relevant to me, right? Because
Doesn't matter.
I'm struggling to find an answer because we're not. I don't sell a product. Yeah.
That's right. How about a service? Because you are a marketing consultant and I'm sure you have clients who are very demanding or
maybe what I can share with you is an experience where one of our clients, as a strategic initiative, embarked on a customer experience-oriented program. So what this, I will not mention any brands. What happened is they sell gold. They're very small. They're not the big players. They sell yellow gold, and their strength is in yellow gold. And yellow gold is passé. So everyone's going into white gold, platinum, silver, chunky accessories, or even not yellow gold. Yellow gold is gold, and no one else has it. So as part of a strategic initiative to reposition yellow gold as being something interesting, we put in place, and this is after a lot of brainstorming, a lot of work done, we put in place a guarantee, or sort of like a guarantee card, that when you buy from this particular brand, you're guaranteed of its authenticity, you're guaranteed of its quality, and you're guaranteed through generations, maybe your children, your grandchildren come back to that jeweler you will have the highest resale value for gold. Yeah. So and there's also 30 days money back guarantee. So everything is hinging on customer service, customer excellence experience. So they launched that. Yeah. And guess what? Brand consultants you all have this image that consultants are expensive. So they went on and did their own little promotion without telling us that they wanted to do this. The week after the promotion, they had a flood coming into their shop. Everybody wants to refund the gold because some of them bought the gold at $180 per gram, and then during the promotion it was $170, and I've got that guarantee. You give me 30 days, I just bought it last week. Hello, give me back my money. And then I rebuy again at 170 ringgit. Oh no. They are having headaches now. So, well, what I would say is that be careful about what you do, because there's difference between strategy and tactics. Understand what you're doing that will have a long-term impact implication that builds your brand equity, and do not what would be the word to say? Do not tarnish or do not spoil it with little promotion that is short term. And even if you want to do promotion, it's not that you cannot, but the promotion mechanics must support the strategy, the umbrella strategy. Yeah. So thinking is the hardest thing to do. That's why brand consultants charge me. Yeah. So I suppose that's a story I can share.
Thank you very much. In fact, this is a very real thing. I remember in the 90s, there was this huge hike in interest. I mean, some people are not born yet then, but in the 90s, there's this huge hike in interest rates, and then banks, I was working in a bank then, were giving out this huge interest rate, like 11%, 30%, and all that. Then it plunged, and oh my, all these FDs stuck for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. We paid through the nose. So I can identify that. I've got many hand signals that we're over the time. So we have run out of time for dialogue. We are going to go into the question and answer now. Before you ask your question, can you please state your name, where you're from? I think we have some lovely ladies there running around with the mic. So the floor is now open. Surely you have some burning questions. I can see in your eyes.
Hi, thank you. My name is Susan. I'm from a company called Bob, which I set up on my own. Just want to ask you, you have been talking about building a customer relationship through, which mainly applies to B2C companies. Would you advise differently for B2B companies? Because my clients are mainly not the mass, but mainly companies. Yeah, thank you.
My man over there, so Rumaizon.
Yes, I would say the currency is a bit different, B2C versus B2B. But a new emerging concept or word is B2B2C. Because ultimately, whatever you're doing, even though your client is a business, that client is reaching out to the end consumer. So when you are thinking about customer service, think far. Yeah? Think not just about pleasing your client as a business, but how can your client, as a result of your service, please his customer? So that's the new age of marketing. I think
There was a book on it, A New Age of Strategic Brand Management. Even Philip Kotler, if you know the marketing guru, he took his hat off on this book on strategic brand management, which talks about B2B2C. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Very good tip. I wrote it down. Any more questions? Over there.
Am I supposed to direct this question to anyone I like?
You can.
Okay. I'd like to address this to Mr. Benjamin.
On the list. Recipes are free. That's an easy one.
Okay, I've noted that most of your establishments are open in like
Shopping centers?
no, the market is very like high.
Affluent.
Yes, you can say that. So the way you market your brand, is it the reason why the price is high, or do you set the price first to adjust with like the expectations of your market? And what do you feel about targeting the mass market, which is a middle class? Because like a middle class human like me appreciate your concepts,
yep.
And it somehow is helping to create awareness of like well-designed eateries.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'll try and explain, and I hope I make sense. If I don't, please just feel free to continue clarifying. In all honesty, we don't set out a concept based on price points. We look at the location. There are many reasons why we pick certain locations. Whether well, I won't use the word purposely. I think ultimately, as a business model, we need to look at what can sustain the business. Yeah. So we pick locations by what we see as potential, whether it's potential now or potential in 10 years, where it will grow. So coincidentally, and of course this reflects in the neighborhood it's in. So if it's in an affluent area, then it's not by design that the price points are higher because it's in an affluent area. It's by product. I was trying to explain earlier on to one of my chefs. For example, a sun-dried tomato. You would think a sun-dried tomato is a sun-dried tomato is a sun-dried tomato, but there are actually many grades, from a 1 ringgit per kilo sun-dried tomato as a figure of speech, to a 10 ringgit per kilo sun-dried tomato. So what we strive as a core philosophy is delivering value. So if we use a $5 sun-dried tomato, catered to that middle market we're talking about, we will charge a price reflective of the location, as well as the, sorry, let me rephrase that, not even by location, is by product that we are providing, and the experience, whether it's design, whether it's a location of the space, and whether it's the meal that's set up. Fair enough, there is a huge market out there for the mass market, you know, a 1 ringgit sun-dried tomato. That is not in our business plan at the moment. That does not say in the future we would have a full complete range of restaurants targeting to various segments of different markets. Ultimately, is knowing what your product is and keeping true to that product without compromising its integrity. The worst part will be charging you a $10 sun-dried tomato but giving you a $1 sun-dried tomato. That's when you are cutting corners, you're trying to maximize value, and that's not delivering what you set out to deliver. I mean, I understand exactly where you're coming from. 10 years ago, I graduated from Melbourne. I came back to Malaysia. That's how I started Delicious, because I was looking for a place that I could afford a cup of coffee and a decent meal without paying through my nose. Till today, we still try and maintain that philosophy about delivering simple, good food at maximum value that we can, you know, through the experience. I mean, everyone spoke about sound system. I was going to tease him and say, can I have your contact, please? Because our sound system costs $25,000 per outlet, each chair that everybody sits on. I mean, this is not bragging. This is sharing. Things that are not in due consideration as a consumer. A lot of times we go into shops and we don't think twice about what we see. But every experience you pay for and you get should be reflective. So for example, in KLCC, every month the rental we pay is 150,000. That's just base rent, guys. That doesn't include the renovation sunken cost of $2.5 million to set up, and then your food costs, and then after that your operating costs and your staff costs. So price is always reflective of the sum of every part put together and then delivered. There are things that I do wish that I can do. I mean, I've just been to this campus for the first time, and I have to say I'm really blown away by it, because I didn't know such a place existed. And I in my mind, I'm really thinking, what else can we do here? Maybe, I was thinking maybe it can be here, but perhaps $8 for a cup of coffee is a little bit out of reach for the average student. Maybe I'm out of touch with the $8 when I was a student, was a lot. But how do we develop something that is catered to that market by location? So that's when you then decide and develop a brand according to location. So there are many different strategies you adapt to fit into the situation that you see. Yeah, so does that answer your question in general? Thanks.
Especially when you say you're coming.
No,
That answered the question.
I need to ask you,
That's not my department.
Okay, I'm John. I'm starting my own business now. I just want to ask, open to everybody. Oh, sorry. Okay, just want to ask, I believe in employees' empowerment in terms of delivering customer service, and I'd like to tie that into my new company with the SOP, where employees is actually involved in the planning stage of it. However, what I fear is that the employee might not actually know best of SOPs, actually having no procedure. So do you think it's actually advisable to get employees actually being involved in the whole process of SOP?
The man with $196.
Well, it all boils back to what is it that you want. I mean, you're trying to open a restaurant, for example. Yeah, like what Manu was saying just now. I mean, it depends a lot of what is it that you want. You want it based on you want to have a pricey outlet, or you want to have tabletop or a la carte, or a very candlelight kind of atmosphere. It depends on what you want. Yeah. You can compare yourself with even a sidewalk cafe, or you want to have something that's extremely high. So when you want to do something that is, in terms of classy, you want to open a very fine dining. Now, fine dining, when you say fine dining, when you advertise yourself as fine dining, you must keep to that reputation. Yeah, every guest who wants to go to your outlet, for example, they will have in their mind that I'm going to go for fine dining restaurant. I want to take my girlfriend to a candlelight dinner, for example. Now, the expectation will be definitely different than the normal restaurant. Yeah. So, as an owner or entrepreneur, you have to decide, because SOP doesn't cost you money. Yeah? Standing operating procedure doesn't cost you money, but it costs you time. Yeah? You need to do a lot of training, familiarization. From the time you're talking about, in a hotel they call it the table talks. Yeah? You can ask 1001 question of a table, setting of tables. Why do you have to have this 1 inch? Why do you have to set it on the left? Why do you have to put the knife facing out, not facing in, kind of thing. So how do you clear a tablecloth without disturbing your neighbor and whatnot? So all this boils back to standard operating procedures. If you have an effective SOPs, and to have people, you have to have a person who is very passionate about training, who loves training people, and you have to embed that interest into your employee. They have to understand, as I said just now, the most important tool is communication. You have to communicate to the employee what is expected of them. Why are they employed? Why are they so important to you? What will they get working with you? So you must have the right people to work for you. You cannot just take anybody who just attend an interview where I can do this. I have a waiter experience in 3 years, but what kind of expectations? Most probably you may not just have to interview him, but maybe you have to make a role play. Yeah, make a table and ask him to do the setting and see how he does. Whether is up to your requirements or not before you actually engage him. As I said just now, giving a wrong impression or giving the wrong message to the customer can be very damaging to your restaurant. Yeah? So the expectation of people against what the outlet is going to be is very important. For example, I was telling you just now, wrong marketing tools. Expectation of customer is what they see in the advertisement, your promotion, right? So when they go there, and there's a different kind of atmosphere, different kind of service, people don't wish, people don't smile, we fail. Did I answer your question?
Thank you very much. I believe that's the answer. Okay.
Hi, very good evening. Myself Agish. I'm from Restaurant Line, from the house. My question is to Mr. Benjamin sir.
Can you hold the mic up?
My question is to Mr. Benjamin sir. So it's how you implement the in-house culture within the restaurant. Restaurant means within the employees. How you are.
How do we inculcate? Lead by example.
Yeah.
We literally lead by example. One of the things that when we interview even senior management, the first thing I ask is, are you prepared to wash a toilet? Because whether you're the CFO, COO of the company, you can only lead by example. You have to practice what you preach and not just say you do this, you do this, you do this, because I say so. So as a general rule of thumb, we try to lead by example. I mean, that's easier said on the top line. And then what happens is then we break them down into different groups and we have roundtable discussions on a weekly basis. So every brand that we have 16 brands, we have 16 brand managers, brand guardians that looks after that brand. And once a month, within the operations department, they will meet to discuss about their problems, the problems they encounter, whether it's the customer service, whether it's about the food. They would highlight those problems and discuss it to try and find solutions amongst themselves. And then I meet them once a month. And this is this true communication that we're able to try and share what the company's beliefs are, what are my beliefs, what I see for the company, and try to, I think the word was educate everyone so that we are on the same page. As long as everybody is rowing in the same direction, you'll be amazed at how much faster we go to where we're trying to get to. Instead of one saying right, one saying left, you never get to that direction. So a lot of it is by sharing, whether it's through discussions or emails or newsletter. It is proving to be slightly more challenging as the company grows. We've got another 18 stores to open in the next year. So now we're trying to develop new formats to whether the subgroups can meet even more frequently. Again, there is no point having meetings if there's no agenda or there's no objective set. So setting the objectives, what is our end game, what are we trying to achieve, and then by sharing that and discussing, and then after that executing it. Thank you.
I got a few signs that time is up. Okay. Thank you very much. Can we give them a big hand?